Now, I will say the lyrical content on right now on the Seeing Red record definitely fits for what's going on right now in the world. It's insane. I was listening to it earlier and I'm just like, good God, the lyrical content. If you knew in 2019 what was going to happen in 2020, like for real, man, like it's insane how spot on those lyrics are right now.
Well, hopefully it's all still left up to interpretation in some way. But I mean, if you look, and it doesn't exist anymore, we had an app when we kicked off the album where you could scan the album cover, and the album cover was animated.
Oh, wow.
And it had a lot of hidden messages on the album cover. It was a lot of there was a lot of like Soviet propaganda stuff hidden in the album cover, talking about Russian influence over America and stuff like that at the time. And
there's a killdozer graffiti.
Yeah, there's also a killdozer graffiti thing that appears out of nowhere.
That's
and
cool.
It was one of those kind of like we had all this like hidden imagery that we did in a quick period of time. As far as the lyrical content, I kind of always want to make everything. I want everything to be topical, but I would think, and fortunately or unfortunately, a lot of those topics are going to be stuff that people will be talking about for the next 100 years.
True.
Like we have a song dealing with school shootings, and we literally wrote that song the day after the shooting in Vegas. And we showed up at practice, and we were all pissed off about the whole thing. And Patrick shows up with this song, and we had the fucking song written by the end of the rehearsal because we were so amped up about that scenario.
Yeah.
We were so amped up, and it's such a scary thing. People take it so lightly. But we didn't want to come out and tell you how people should think about things either. It's just it wasn't trying to encourage people to think one way or the other. It's just encouraging people to think.
Perspective also.
Yeah, it's a punching bag too.
Yeah.
True. I think sometimes people don't, and this just goes back to what's going on in the world. Some people are taking what's going on serious right now. Some people are not. And, we have to find a healthy middle in between. And the other thing that we're lacking right now in the world is more empathy.
Yes.
Yeah, we need more Baby Yoda.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. With this lockdown thing, this disease thing, it's like there's a fine line between not taking it too seriously or not taking it serious enough and taking it too seriously. I mean, you kind of have to be safe. I mean, my biggest concerns, which a lot of people probably are, is for our parents, that are all in the scare zone. And people are talking about, fuck this, I'm not staying in the house. It's like, so you're putting my mom and dad, and people that have to work, and I understand it. I'm shocked that I'm not working right now. It's the weirdest thing ever because, we talked about my snowstorms. I'm always like the last person that's essential enough that it has to be there.
Yeah. I'm working now, but I don't know how essential I'll be on Monday.
Yeah. So scary time. And just like, you know what? It's like I see people saying like, oh, if it ever goes to martial law, fuck this. They're not going to keep me in my house. And I'm like, dude, you're the Tide Pod eater. Like that's like the hillbilly version of the pod. Like, it's like you're a flat earther. You just don't even know it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like these people are all like, so like, support our police, support our military. Unless they tell you to stay in your house, then fuck that, I'm going out.
Yeah. What's weird about it? And I keep thinking about it. It's like when you're little and you like, your parents like, go to your room. You're like, thank you. I have all my shit in my.
Oh my God.
Now like all my stuff is there.
I got the coolest toy collection ever.
Oh, I bet. So let's talk about some more happier things than, what's going on in the world. No, it's fine, guys.
Well, that's what, it's like, that's right what I go to.
Hey man, this show is about expressing yourself and about expressing, who you are. And that's cool that you use topical things that are going on for lyrics, because there's a lot of music that's just written and nobody has no rhyme or reason, to what's going on.
Well, the music industry as a whole has gotten so, I say it's a country club in foreclosure and everyone's broke, but everyone talks about status. And people are so afraid to hurt that stuff. And, I modern day music that I love Prophets of Rage. Those guys are doing what Public Enemy did and bring it up, full volume with the stuff that they say. And it's like, I'm not to get political or anything like that, but at the same time, you got to be able to speak your mind. And people are afraid to do that because people aren't going to spend money on a record. People say, you shouldn't talk about this because you're only going to hurt yourself because people aren't going to spend money. It's like I'm paying my bills and my record sales anyway.
I mean,
I have friends that won Grammys that still have a day job. You know, there's no money in the music.
No, and that's something my friend Kyle from Florida kind of pointed out that, I asked them about them releasing a record, and he basically explained to me that they're just going to single out a lot of what they would put together as a record because there's no how do you say it? There's nothing that's enticing them to do so, and it just kind of like people forget about you after okay, we got an album. Here's your album. Goodbye. Nobody's really talking about you anymore. And there's certain bands I feel can still put out records because obviously, there's, like you said, it's like a country club of, people on foreclosure. But
yeah, if we're not going to get rich off this shit, you might as well speak your mind.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I agree with that. So my next question is a question I feel that is a deep question because how I met my wife was through music. So I think it's something that can be discussed. Not only are you guys married, but you guys are married in a band together. How do you feel being in a band has strengthened your marriage?
It's because we put each other through a lot more shit because of it. I mean, it's definitely a test. I mean, she has to put up with a lot of shit. I got to put up with a lot of shit.
It's definitely 24/7.
It's 24/7. Definitely. I mean, the biggest concern is we have to find a sitter for our cats when we do go on tour. But at the same time, it's kind of like, all right, I went through a midlife crisis recently after turning 27. And I started buying a shit ton of guitars, which any wife on the planet would just be like, what the hell is wrong with you? But she's just kind of like, all right, honey, as long as we pay our bills, you're good. And I'm like, best wife ever.
And I get to play them, though.
And she gets to play them. So it's kind of like where we feed off each other. There are sometimes I'll come in and play a song idea off her, and we're like recording something like that. Or it's 24/7, which has its negatives and its positives. It's like things where it's almost like if you work the same job together. It's like couples and bands don't necessarily always are the best thing, but at the same time, they don't really know us.
Yeah, we certainly don't bring our problems to the band.
Yeah.
And it's also, I mean, when we started dating, I was touring in a different band, and it made it a lot harder to be away. But now putting all our eggs in the same basket sometimes is a little bit easier.
Yeah, and plus, too, I mean, like, that was another thing, too. At the time, like, she could sing, but I felt she wasn't singing enough. So I would sing more, a lot more. And it's one of those things where, like, or if I, she writes out, like, hey, you should do more writing. And that we get some a lot of cool shit out of it.
I've definitely been able to express more because of you, so
you're welcome.
I mean, that's positive. You guys are giving yourself an opportunity. When my wife first met me, I was like a cocky son of a bitch, so she was annoyed with me, and within like 3 months of knowing each other, we were like broken up, and it was a lot to do with me being an asshole about everything. So, but I mean, later on in life, we kind of grew up, we've got kids, and, here we are, happy, in love, So, and speaking of other bands Jeanne's been in, we're not going to stress too much on it. But I do want to ask, how did you feel your time in All That Remains added to transferring into being in Crossing Rubicon? Do you feel like your experience gives you some help with pushing the band?
I'm not it's weird because in that band I was definitely just kind of there and I played my role. I wasn't a writer and I wasn't seen as that important. So to step away from that and then come to something like Crossing Rubicon, and there was a summer where I was in both, and this is kind of what helped solidify my reason for leaving. Was I was like, holy shit, I'm in this band and I feel like I'm part of it, and I'm not just going through the motions. Let it just gave me hope in music again, which was fading very much so. I was in that 10 years. A lot of that was fading, and it was just kind of like, oh, this is cool. I mean, I have the best job ever. But at the cellular level, I'm like, well, why am I here? This isn't why I got into music. This isn't, it's just a lot of stuff started fading, and I started kind of just like, And so when I started playing with Rubicon, it kind of gave me like hope, and I'm like, holy shit, I am part of something again, and I feel like I matter. And Scott pushing me to do things outside of the box, I was like, holy shit, I'm going to leave and I'm going to do this. I don't care what happens after this. I don't care if I don't have the status. I don't care if I any of that stuff. If I've always been cool with fans and stuff like that, and if they want to check out something else, I appreciate it. But yeah, I've taken all that experience and I can use it, and I have used it towards Rubicon, but I don't think of it the same way. It's just really exciting to me, and it's exciting to kind of work on something. I don't know. I kind of talked in circles.
It's fine. I appreciate you even answering the question, because I would totally feel like I would be doing a disservice if we didn't talk about that. But also at the same time, I want you to know that when I first saw you in an All That Remains video, I thought, this is the most badass chick I've ever seen in my entire life. You, like, seriously, seeing you on that second record and like hearing your playing on that record, it's one of my favorite records of all time. And I it makes me sad that you lost some of that passion, but also at the same time, it's exciting because you were able to find that passion again, and not only find it, but find it with someone you absolutely love. And it's great. You know what I'm saying? This is what my podcast is about. The love of music you have, because sometimes we forget what we're doing this for. We forget that we were kids once that were just like, oh man, I want to do that. I want to see that. I want to play like that. I want to play those shows. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, hearing you talk about it kind of gave me a little fire and passion, because I'm just like, man, what's more simpler than doing exactly what you love?
Right.
Simple as that. Now, I do have a question for you real quick, okay? Because looking at your Wikipedia, it says at one time you were the bass player for the Acacia Strain. Is this true?
Yeah, I filled in for a few shows.
Okay.
It was right around. I was in a band called Light as a Language.
Okay.
That was 2002, and we played with the Acacia Strain like every weekend. We played everywhere together all the time. So we were very friends with them. They're like some of our best friends at the time, and they lost their bass player, and my band broke up, and they're like, hey, will you play with us? And I was like, sure. I played 4 shows. This is about when they're recording 5150. No, 3150. Sorry. Yes. I got Alan.
I did too.
3150, the EP. And they're like, hey, do you want to play with us? Do you want to come on tour with us? And I was like, man, I just finished college. I ain't going to be that. Like, So I turned them down when they were getting signed and about to go out and about. I mean, it's awesome because they're still putting out records. It still looks like they're doing really well.
Yeah, they just dropped a new 2 new songs Friday, I believe. So yeah they dropped. They're still. And then they kind of had that weird album, the EP that they just put out before, where it was kind of like a doomy kind of sound as opposed to the deathcore that they usually do.
I liked it. It's cool story.
Me too.
Cool. I like doing stuff. And every now and then I check in on them and listen to their albums. I don't listen to all of them, but every now and then I'm like, oh, how are they doing? What do they sound like at this point?
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I played 4 shows briefly. I kind of just filled in.
I just like when I do these kind of podcasts, I try to do my best research. So when I saw that you had a Wikipedia page, I was like, oh, I'm reading this.
My birthday's wrong.
I was going to say her birthday's wrong in it.
Yeah, that's hilarious. And I'm just like, you never know with that kind of stuff, especially like with Wikipedia, because I mean, it could say 1,001 things, and I don't think it's the most accurate, but because that was pointed out, and because I am a big Acacia Strain fan, I was like, oh my God, I got to ask her this question. Is this true?
Had our page taken down.
Yeah.
With somebody put a Wikipedia page up for us, and it was taken down.
Yeah, no, and when you press on